Hello, and welcome to this episode of Create Vibrant Health. So our topic du jour today is a soul food topic, and I would like to share with you how I came about wanting to talk about this topic, although I've thought about it a bunch. So I am a book junkie. I'm a total book addict. I'll admit it right here in public. I read all the time, and I often read multiple books at one time. And one of the books I picked up recently because I was watching a video of somebody's and they referenced this book. And I picked it up, and the name of the book is The Top 5 Regrets. I'm looking at my iPad. The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And it's by a woman named Bronnie Ware. Bronnie with an R. And regret number 1 in the book is, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life that others expected of me. So what do you think about that? Does that make you feel uncomfortable at all? I think it probably makes a lot of us feel uncomfortable because we realize that, it's really interesting. And I think I've mentioned this in a couple videos before, but if you look at little kids and you look at the elderly, neither one of them really gives a hoot what anybody else thinks for the most part. I'm talking about little kids, like 3 or less, before they start to get socialized to give a darn about what anybody else thinks. Kids, they're so close to their spirit. They are so close to that vital essence, that unnamed thing that lives inside of all of us, through which we're all connected. And little kids just totally feel that, and they live it, and they are themselves in the moment, and they really don't care what anybody else thinks. The elderly, on the other hand, have been completely socialized, gone through all the socialization stuff, but they're on the other side where they really don't care because they're wise enough to know that it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what your neighbor thinks or what, the person in your PTA thinks, or it honestly doesn't even matter what your spouse thinks or your mother thinks. Now, I don't mean that in an unkind way, like you shouldn't give a darn about what they think. It's just that it's not their life, it's your life. So kids and the elderly, they get that. And for the rest of us, a lot of times the reason that we don't choose the life that we really want to lead is out of fear. And I've talked about fear many times before, fear and doubt. And the bottom line is we're actually more wired, and I mean neurologically, like in our limbic brain, like the reptile brain. We are wired to avoid pain at all costs. We'll do anything to avoid pain. We're more wired to avoid pain than we are wired to seek out pleasure. So the seeking out pleasure is like, gosh, I really don't like my job and I've always wanted to do X. That's seeking out pleasure. But in our mind, it's like, oh, no, there's pain involved in all of that. I'm already good at my career. I know what I'm doing. I studied for it. Everybody expects me to do it. I'm the provider for the family, blah, 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 blah. We always have all the reasons, right? So we're more wired to avoid that pain of people not, liking what we're doing or vocalizing that or changing their relationship with us or whatever the case may be. So at the end of the day, to all that, I say this. So, and I'm actually not saying it. So one of my fave authors of all time is Dr. Seuss, who I know was a child author. But if you actually read through his books, they're actually pretty deep. There's a whole nother level beyond the funny rhymes and funny pictures and the little stories. There's a very deep level to most of them. And one of the things that Dr. Seuss said, which I thought was really brilliant, was this: people who mind don't matter, and people who matter don't mind. Meaning the people that mind, the people are like, I can't believe she's doing that. Who does that? Who wears that? Who does that job? They don't matter. And the people who really do matter, your very best friend, your circle of friends, your family, your mentor, whoever it is who cheers you on, those people, the people that matter, they don't mind. They just want you to be you. They want you to be, here's the thing, happy people don't judge other people for living authentically. If you're happy, if someone's super happy, they don't care that you're making some offbeat choice that they don't understand. It's like, okay, that's cool. They must be going and doing what they want to do. That's fine with me, right? it's the people that aren't happy that it actually makes them uncomfortable when you step out, when you go to live that calling that's authentically inside of you. And I want to give you an example. I have a friend, he's a man, and he really didn't like his corporate job, and he was just dying in his corporate job, and as the breadwinner of the family, and has kids and a wife. And at some point he just decided, you know what, I'm going back to school and I'm going to become a school teacher. People are like, what? You have an awesome job, you make tons of money, why are you going to become a school teacher? Like, why would you do that? They don't, unfortunately, the people that educate our next generation don't make very much money. And people just couldn't understand, like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, you have the income and the life that lots of people want. Why would you do that? I give this guy credit. Let's call him Roger. Roger went right ahead with his plan. He went back to school. He got a teaching job. And oh, by the way, teaching in a really like difficult school system, meaning like the kind where you have to get checked for guns and knives when you go in. So a lot of very kids with troubled homes and anger, and, you know, rightfully so, why they're angry. And he loves his job. And I bet he's really good at it because he's a really, really nice man. He's great with kids. He's great with people. And he's funny and smart. And I just always had my hat off to him that he did what he authentically wanted to do. He lived his life. He didn't care what anybody else thought. He had a wonderful wife that supported him, and she mattered. So it's back to, you know, people that mind don't matter and people that matter don't mind. His wife, I mean, I'm sure there was like issues and some financial trickiness, but he went after what he wanted, right? So the most important thing to take out of all this is understand when that fear comes up, what it's doing. It's trying to like keep you in a box so nothing bad happens to you. That's our, you know, our reptile brain saying, oh, don't do that. Change can make bad things happen. Well, not making change can make bad things happen too. So the most important thing you can do is give yourself a ton of self-respect and self-compassion every step of the way. If you have this nagging voice inside you that's saying, step out, do this, I will just feel so much more in alignment with who I am as a spirit, as a person. If I do this thing, then do that thing. Like, there's no like roll call or repeat on this one. Like, we're here on this planet, go out there and do and live what you want to do. Obviously not like in a way that would hurt other people. Like, oh, I feel like driving a bus over people. Like, that's not cool. But talking about making choices that authentically help you live the life that you want to lead. So, I get all passionate about that one. I would love to hear from you. So if you're listening to this video anywhere other than at my blog, I invite you to hop over to lauriewarren.com and into the blog. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Some of the best conversation happens after the video. Actually, that's the only conversation because right now it's just me talking. So I would love to hear from you, hear if this resonated with you. If there's any times in your life where you've chosen the authentic path and what it meant for you. I can tell you I've done it plenty of times in my life and it felt amazing. Scary in the moment for sure. But in the end, when I listened to my inner voice, it turned out right. So I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful for you today. It's a little soul food to start or finish your day. And thanks for listening, and have an awesome, fantabulous day. And create vibrant health today and every day, because you are worth it.